William Greer is among the many Austinites in Boston for the marathon.
Crossing the finish line was a triumphant moment for Mr. Greer, but the feeling of triumph turned to confusion and fear just a minute later.
But it was quite frightening. Yeah, I'm legally blind, so I was running with a sighted guide, Peter Sagal from NPR, and we were walking to get our finisher's medals, and we heard one explosion. And this is the third time he's run Boston, and Peter said, "Oh, I've never heard anything like that before." And a little while later, we heard a second explosion. No one knew what was going on. We heard sirens, and we saw first a police motorcycle, then another police motorcycle, and eventually a fire truck go by. We couldn't get any information.
We also spoke this afternoon with Frank Livaday, who is in Boston, with a group of about 12 Austin runners who trained together.
He had finished the race just before the explosions.
I was heading back to the hotel, could just hear a bunch of sirens and everything, and then my father-in-law finished right in front of it, so he heard the first explosion, turned around, saw the second one, saw the smoke, and then got evacuated out, came back to the hotel as quick as he could.
What did he say the scene was like there?
Chaos. Just people were running away. They were rapidly trying to evacuate people that had gotten hurt. There was the people working were ripping apart the barricades so they could get to the sidewalk to start administering aid to the people that were close to the explosion and had been injured.
The Boston Marathon, I know you've done a lot of them, but this is a really big deal. So tell me again just your feelings surrounding this, that this had to happen at such a famous location like that.
Yeah, it's probably the most famous finish in all of marathons. You take a turn onto Boylston Street, and that finish is just fantastic. The crowd is going nuts. You finished, a race that you had to qualify to get into. You've worked really hard, and so it's very surreal. You see a lot of people crying. They're just so happy to finish it. So it's hard to fathom that you'd be running along and then have that explosion go off. You'd go from elation to this devastation so fast.